It's heartbreak for Altrincham at the J Davidson Stadium on Saturday afternoon. It's finished Altrincham 1, FC Halifax Town 1, and Halifax have won 3-2 on penalties. Phil Parkinson, that was very, very difficult to take.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Very difficult for me to speak to you right now, to be honest, to be perfectly frank. It was difficult for me to address the players at the end of the game. Football's a cruel world, a cruel game, and you don't always get what you deserve, and it's reared its ugly head again for us today in terms of, I felt we did enough to certainly win the game, and then to lose on penalties was soul destroying, to be honest with you.
The 90 minutes, it went perfectly. We played really, really well. We were the better team throughout. But I guess at 1-0, there's only a goal in it, and in the end, we paid for that. But it doesn't affect the hurt any less.
No, well, we've been here before, haven't we? With regards to semi-finals, I'll take you back to the Portsmouth game as well. So, gut-wrenching feelings. Then we go on and get promotion. Semi-final against Chorley, penalties, and then we go on and get promotion the next season. These things will really help these players grow. We're a very young team, and the only way that I can put a positive slant for any Altrincham fan tonight is these will come back stronger and better for it. Really determined. The one question mark that can never be asked of the players is determination, desire, grit, willing to work hard, and that's a brilliant foundation to build on. We've certainly got flair players, we've got players who can play, but today in a semi-final where that's probably the youngest team in the division, we've got 18-year-olds in that side. They didn't let us down, they did everything we asked of them, and they didn't get what they deserved today, and next season they'll come back ever so strong for that.
We did have a number of chances, and after a tight first half, we were certainly very much the better side. There weren't a huge amount of chances. Second half, though, it opened up, as you'd expect, as Halifax came at us, and we did have chances to make it 2-0 and kill it off.
Well, as I said, reared its ugly head, probably Achilles heel, not getting what we deserve. But when you play that well, you've got to win the game. So we've conceded a goal. That's been our Achilles heel all season, not being able to keep a clean sheet, and we've not taken all of our chances, and that again has been something that we've not done well enough this season, and a big learning curve for all the players' development. And it's not something they're doing deliberately, it just comes with experience, know-how, keeping a cool head, making a right decision, executing the pass. But even defensively, right at the end there, the clearances we've seen, it felt like Torquay all over again, where I think Brad at Torquay couldn't quite clear it the distance we needed to, and it arrived back in the box. And Eddie's had an unbelievable game, not quite connected with his clearance, and they get another chance to put it in the box. But I hate to say it, referee decisions as well, not decisions on the. I didn't think he got loads wrong. It was a very difficult game to referee, but the time management of it is really poor, and. To put 3 minutes up and then play, what was it, 96, whatever it was, 6 minutes on top of that, and they're saying, and for a flare to come on from one of their fans and say that's a minute on, and then a minute for celebrations, and there's still a minute unaccounted for then, and that's where they score. It's just, it's devastating, to be honest, that those things have cost us this season. So it's not just the referees, we haven't kept a clean sheet, we haven't took our chances, a referee decision's gone against us. And it feels like I've had my insides ripped out, but we'll be stronger for it, we'll learn, we'll come back, and we'll be better for this experience. It doesn't feel that way now. I just want to thank all the fans as well. I mean, what an amazing turnout, that's what I asked for, and they delivered on that, and hopefully they can see this progressive team, and hopefully they can still back us in the numbers from now to the end of the season, because that's going to be really important for us to be able to bounce back, because that'll take some getting over. As good as they are, as young as they are, that's the bit that will be difficult for them now, and we need to really come together and make sure we show what a great club this is, as we have this week. This week's been amazing and really showed me. I mean, I was so emotional there at the end. I can't. You speak about emotions in football. I'm not an emotional person, but just seeing the fans there and the fact they clapped us off when it must have been difficult for them to do that, even though I know we've given everything. To be so close to Wembley and have that torn away from you, there's nobody who's feeling that more than myself, my players, my staff. So I know how much it means to the fans, because they wouldn't have turned up in the numbers the way they did. They wouldn't have got behind us the way they did. So I can only apologise. And it's hard for me to speak to you now, but we did everything we could and we just couldn't get there. I'm just so sorry.
Just going back to the added time, it felt as if the ref was ready to blow the whistle, and because Halifax had still had a bit of momentum, he's let them play a little bit longer. He probably has played longer. Well, he definitely has played longer than he should have done.
He has, and I can go in there and I said, how many times have I come in front of you this week? And I said I could go in and tear a strip off a referee. They're learning, aren't they? But unfortunately, it's costing us. And it'll cost other teams, and that's the level we're at, but it shouldn't be happening at this level. I get a decision, it's subjective. Time management's not subjective, but all I'll get if I go in there is the referee manages the game and decides on the amount of time that he's adding on. And it's just it's horrific to know that they've scored or won the game in that added on time that probably shouldn't have been.
And football is a very cruel game, and right now we're all feeling bitterly hurt and disappointed, and as you say, our guts have been ripped out of us almost, but we have to fight back, and there's still plenty to play for in this season, and the most important thing is that the football club is heading in the right direction, on the pitch, off the pitch, in every way possible.
Hey, listen, let's just reflect on the season, because I did this with the players on Friday. We've gone from part-time to full-time. We've had all the things that happened in January. We've got to a semi-final of a competition that we haven't reached in 32 years. That is a mean feat in itself. We're in another semi-final in the Cheshire Senior Cup, whatever anybody thinks of that competition. So the lads have kept the season going right to the end for us. It would have been great to go beyond and achieve what we all wanted to, that trip to Wembley. It's not our season for that. We will get there. We will have a season like that. I can promise you that. Because one thing we are doing, you said it there, we're moving forward. This club is moving forward, and with that kind of support, that is frightening. We need 2,500, 3,000 fans regularly, and we've got to make sure they've got something to come in and want to get behind us and get through the gate for, not just the trip to Wembley, to support us in the league that way. And when we achieve that, we'll be a real big team in this division, and we're climbing, we're getting better. We're a young team. Remember how young we are, youngest in the division. Something to be exceptionally proud of at Altrincham right now. You've got a young team who give absolutely everything for wearing that shirt, and you saw that today. And honestly, I'm picking lads up off the floor in there because they were so desperate to do it. Lads are in tears, devastated, because they just wanted to give everybody that trip, and they wanted it themselves. They wanted to notch that off for themselves, but again, it just wasn't our day.
Thank you, Phil. That's the thoughts of Phil Parkinson after what's been a desperately disappointing afternoon. Rather, perhaps inappropriately, the officials are just walking past us as we finish this interview. But it has been a great season for Altrincham. We have gone out of the FA Trophy right at the death at the semi-final stage, but it's still been a great season. There's plenty to look forward to on and off the pitch for Altrincham Football Club.